It's Labor Day 2024, September 2nd, 2024. So I'm here in the garden today to do my Labor Day garden video as well as my Every Second Matters video. So we've already been out this morning. We walked the dog to the nature center. And I was wearing my Every Second Matters t-shirt and Every Second Matters patch on my hat, as well as lawfully open carrying my SR 1911. So we had some warm weather in late August, and that really helped out the garden. However, today the high is only going to get up to 70. And even though it's sunny out, some wind has kind of picked up this morning. So between the shade and the wind, it might feel a little bit chilly. The weather's going to be changing here in Michigan, and that means that the gardening season will be winding down, and also I won't be open carrying on the 2nd if I'm out walking the dog for a few months here. Maybe I'll do it in October, but for a few months in the winter, it's going to be kind of impractical to do that because I'll be dressed for the weather. But there are other things that I can do for Every Second Matters. And there's other things I can do to work on the garden if the weather is not too cold to try to get it ready for next year. But for now, the weather's cooperating, so I open carried today. I'm open carrying right now, and I might be open carrying later today if I decide to go rail fanning. So I've got to pick a few things in the garden for meals this week, and I thought I'd just take you along to show you just a few of the things that are still doing really well as the gardening season is wrapping up. The sweet banana peppers are still doing great. I've never harvested this many before. Look at these little guys down here. I mean, I've still got more coming in. And the grape tomatoes over here are still doing okay. The plant is kind of withering in some places, but I'm still getting tomatoes. I mean, look at all those. And down there are 3 hot banana peppers. The one on the far right is ready to be picked, and the other 2 I can pick maybe next week. The bonus tomato plant over here is so heavy that it's actually weighing down the hoop, and probably some wind or something caused it to just kind of topple some. Yeah, trying to straighten it out by shoving it into the ground a little bit more. There we go. So you can see one of these tomatoes is starting to turn red, and these 3 here might be next, but those are still green. Those are still green. So I don't know if I'm going to harvest anything off of this plant or not. And over here, the other side of the lattice, you can see there's still a lot of grape tomatoes. And with the green onions here, there's a bunch of green ones in there. The other grape tomato plant over on this section of the garden is still producing. There's a lot of tomatoes. I've just got to get in there to get them. And let's take a look over here at the purple bell pepper plant. It's got a good size bell pepper right there. And there's two smaller ones up top. So I can pick this one this week and those two next week. Over here, I've got some red tomatoes. Some red cherry tomatoes on this bonus tomato plant. This other one here got a bunch of little green ones, so it's in the shade. I don't know if it'll turn colors or not, but I can harvest a few of those. I've got some green Fresno peppers that aren't ready to pick, but I've got some red ones that are definitely ready to pick. There we go. For Taco Tuesday. And there are 3 small bell peppers on this purple bell pepper plant. 1 is green, 2 are purple. So I might be able to harvest something off of this before the end of the season this year. And I've got a bunch of green cowhorn peppers. So if we get enough sunlight, all of these will turn red. So I'm thinking maybe at least 2 more weeks of spicy cowhorn peppers for Taco Tuesday. There's some little guys on this jalapeno, and there's one tiny one down there that's been on so long that it's turned red, but it's kind of bushy. So this one's only good for seeds. This other jalapeno got 4 peppers on it, a little tiny one, 2 small ones, and 1 that's ready to pick, and another little red one that, yep, mushy. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these in another section of the garden, and maybe something will come up next year. Over on the other side of the fence, there's some green peppers on this Fresno pepper plant. And over here, the purple bell pepper plant looks healthy. See 1 tiny little green bell pepper on it. Yeah, that's it for now. The raspberries just didn't do well this year. I can't explain it other than maybe I overwatered them. This Fresno pepper plant has got 2 good-sized red peppers that's ready to harvest. And this big Bertha Bell pepper plant has got a really big green pepper. All these leaves are in the way. Really big green pepper over on that side. And got a little bud up here at the top. And it's got raspberry stalks growing up into it. Down here at the bottom and the back. Ooh, yeah, this one was on way too long. Ugh. Compost. More Fresno peppers. This one down here is kind of wilted, so I'm just going to throw that down there. Maybe something will come up next year, but got a bunch of little green ones. Over here, the Marconi peppers. Giant Marconi peppers. I've got 2 green ones and a smaller green one up top. Nothing's turned red. Don't know if they're getting much sunlight because the tomato plants are just going nuts all around it. And you can see there's a lot of green, healthy tomatoes, but down here, there's some that have turned red. These are smaller tomatoes. So they're bigger than a grape tomato, but not as big as a slicing tomato. So I'll harvest a couple of these today. And you can see the Cajun bell pepper plant has gotten tall. but right now it's in a bunch of shade. I've tried to trim some of the plants that are growing up into the trees. I've got a big grapevine over here and other things to deal with. I've tried to trim some of that back to get some sunlight in here, but it looks like I'm probably not going to get anything off of it this year. You see these small buds. There's a flower there. I thought something might happen, but I think it's just going to get too chilly. I'll still check in on it in future videos. Going back into the section of the garden where I've got all the lettuce, you can see all of these cherry tomatoes or these grape tomatoes. Yeah, I've got to harvest all of these. I mean, there's a lot. These things make great snacks for our lunch. And over here, the Bonnie Green Bell. It's got some bell peppers that are ready to go. This one isn't doing so good. That one can just be compost. And there's some larger tomatoes. Those are cherry tomatoes over there. And we've got some Orange Bites snacking peppers. Lots of little green ones here, but there are 2 orange ones that I could harvest and throw those in with the grape and cherry tomatoes as a snack. Over here, you can see the orange bell pepper has finally turned orange. Well, halfway orange. So it's half green and half orange. So maybe if there's enough sunlight that gets through, might be able to harvest this guy. And here's some jalapenos that are ready to go. We're gonna make some poppers with those. Speaking of jalapenos, I should check this mammoth jalapeno plant. There's a bunch of small ones here at the top, but there's some that are ready to harvest with raspberry growing up in there. Yeah, there's some that are ready to harvest over here. So between the 2 plants, yeah, we're gonna have some poppers. And there's still plenty to harvest from the lemon boy. And you can see some small green tomatoes up here. So it may still produce a few more before the end of the season. There's some decent sized green ones higher up. Everything lower down, the plant is just kind of withered and died, or something's got into it and ate them. I'll be harvesting a few of these. I'll probably slice them up and have them on BLTs. There's some lunchbox red peppers that I can harvest. Those will go in with the cherry and grape tomatoes in little baggies to go in our lunches. And there's a few green ones on the top that haven't turned red yet. This Cubanelle has got 3 green peppers on it. So if it gets some sunlight, they might turn colors and then I can harvest them. The other Cubanelle on this side, the plant looks healthy, but there's no peppers on it, so it's probably done for this season. And unfortunately, I lost this bell pepper, so it becomes compost. I was waiting for it to turn red, and I waited too long. It rotted. There is still a healthy green pepper on this, and I might just harvest it green. Over here, the yellow bell pepper on this plant is half green, half yellow, so I might harvest that one too. Or I can just wait. I've got lots of bell peppers. And there's still plenty of bonus tomatoes growing here in between the 2 bell pepper plants. Looks like something got into this Better Boy tomato, and that one there I think was just pressed up against something, so that kind of ruined it. But this one here is good for picking, and this one I can slice that off. Those 2 are ready. So some of the tomato plants are winding down for the season, but some of them still have the opportunity to turn colors and to be harvested. So we'll see in an upcoming video if I get anything else off of some of these. But for right now, I'm really happy with how many tomatoes we got this year. So in this section of the garden over here where I transplanted the Thai hot pepper plants and the Cajun bell pepper plants, something has been walking in here. I think it's deer. They're not going to chew on these plants. I mean, they're not producing anything. It's just too late in the season. It was an experiment, and you know, I'm not going to get anything off of it. But these peppers would be hot anyhow. They just wouldn't mess with them. So maybe next season I'll spread some of this stuff out. Maybe if I've got more hot peppers close to more of the mild stuff, it might repel some critters. I don't know. Speaking of Thai hot pepper plants, the ones that are growing from the remnants of last year are producing little green peppers, or in the case of this plant, long green peppers, but they haven't turned colors yet. They take a while to turn color. You can see they go from green to purple and then red. The one I bought at the store, though, has made lots of these little spicy red peppers, and I've been putting them in everything: tacos, salsa, even in ramen noodles. They're great in ramen noodles, so I'm really happy with that. And maybe next year I'll do more with this section of the garden. So this isn't the last garden video of the year or the last. This is what I got to deal with. Take two. So this won't be the last gardening video of the year, but there's only going to be a few left. So they won't be every week. They might be just spread out to maybe 2 a month or something like that. And this isn't the last Every Second Matters video of the year, hopefully, but don't expect to see a whole lot of me outside open carrying for a few months. Thanks for watching.